Hello and welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Tuesday, January 9th, 2018. Good morning and Happy New Year. Sue here with video number 308 in our regular Tuesday, Thursday morning video series. I hope you had a really great holiday. I sure did. I really enjoyed having the time away with my family. We were lucky enough to go to warmer climates. Here we are. This was taken about 2 weeks ago. There's me, my kids and husband. We were in Turks and Caicos, which I would highly recommend. It's an amazing place. The beaches are awesome, but ready to get back to things in 2018. So with that, let's get into today's video. If you're a regular viewer, then you will know I always start the videos off with a look at the Russell Index, which I use as my proxy for the markets overall. And I like to step back and take a look at the Russell on a bigger time frame, so I start with the 5-year monthly. We've been keeping an eye on this wedge that we really were studying through all of 2017, but as you can see, we had a breakout of that wedge several months ago. So this was December. Here we are for January. It's worth noting that December's candle was a little bit indecisive in that it was a doji and a slightly red candle. So we'll need to see some follow through in January to the upside to say that this is just really consolidation on a move higher. So keeping an eye on things in January, we want to see how that candle shapes up. I'm going to move it away from the monthly to the 1-year weekly chart. And as you can see, this is that same wedge on the smaller time frame. So we're up and over our black diagonal line that was resistance down in here, but it is now support. This is the weekly, so you can see that we're kind of consolidating sideways here in an overall uptrend, but we just want to make sure that this sideways consolidation resolves itself to the upside and not to the downside. So we want to be pretty careful in this area as the market decides which way it wants to go. I'm going to move it away from the weekly to the 3-month daily so we can better see how price is behaving. We had that bounce off that diagonal support, and we are up and over the blue, which is the 8-day EMA. I use this as my guide. So when price is up and over the blue 8-day EMA, I'm looking at new names for my watch list. This morning I'm going to review an old name that I put forward a while ago, but it's a great looking chart, still has good scores, and it's worth taking a look at again. And so the chart that I wanted to feature for you this morning, or refeature I should say, is Netease Inc, ticker symbol NTES, trades on the NASDAQ exchange. I've been doing these videos for a while now, and we're looking at the 5-year monthly chart. You can see that I featured Netease back here in this area. The little green circles are my video days. Here, and I know I featured it more recently, but we'll see it on the smaller chart. Anyway, what I want you to take away from this 5-year monthly chart is the beautiful uptrend that Netease is in. Having said that, I'm seeing wicks forming on the monthly candles, but on the smaller time frame, this still looks like a pretty interesting area and one that might be worth paying attention to. I like the volume, beautiful volume coming in. I like the consolidation here, and let's go take a look at this area on the smaller time frame, but just you want to be aware of those wicks. I'm going to move it away from the 5-year monthly to the 2-year weekly. And there we go. So there's where I reiterated it, just a little tiny green circle, but beautiful run from there. Starting to get interesting in this area again, at least to me in the way I look at things. So we had this consolidation here. Again, we're looking at the 2-year weekly. Consolidation, then the move higher with volume off of this area. So let me put in some areas of support. So I would say that this area right here that we're in right here right now is an interesting one, up and over the 8-day on the monthly chart. So now let me move it away from the 2-year weekly. But before I do, let me note again the volume here that pushed us through this area that was resistance. It is now support. So volume thrust, beautiful candle, and here's where we are right here, right now. So I'm going to move it away from the 2-year weekly to the 6-month daily. There's our orange line that we drew in of support. It's consolidating and bouncing around this area, thinking, do I want to go higher? You can see the gap that formed and the enthusiasm with that volume where it gapped here, it gapped here. But should we get a 3 and 8 cross in this area here, Netease might be interesting again for a further run higher. We will see. I'm going to move it from the 6-month daily to the 3 months because I really want to zoom in for you on the 3 and 8. So for me, I like to see the pink, which is the 3 EMA, move up and over the blue. It's a really simple way to trigger your trades and look at things. So it looks as though it may be teeing up here for a cross. Hasn't occurred yet, but I will be monitoring this one in the days ahead. But I really like the look of this chart. The scores are great. The sector that it's in is pretty strong, so Netease might be worth keeping an eye on here. Along with the chart that I'm focusing on, I also like to take a look at the sector that it's in, and for that we're looking at XLK, which is the ETF for the technology sector. 2-year weekly chart, beautiful uptrend, and the strength seems to be continuing in this sector, so we know that technology is strong. Also like to take a look at seasonality, and for that I go to equityclock.com, which is a terrific site. I think I mentioned this with just about every video. We're looking at the seasonal chart for Netease. You can see that it's in seasonal favor pretty much through the entire year. Nice, beautiful seasonal chart. Also, I like to skip over to FinViz and see if I've got analyst support for my pick. And as you can see, Netease has positive analyst coverage. Also like to take a look at some of the articles listed here on FinViz, and I am going to include a couple of those with today's video. The first one is that Pokemon is launching in China. So Netease is well positioned to take advantage of that move of Pokemon and the gaming growth in the gaming industry that might come in as well with this. We saw what happened with NVIDIA in the last little while. So will that happen with the Chinese internet gaming stocks? Who knows, but that is a strong catalyst to be aware of. As well, there was another article that top investment picks for 2018. If you scroll down, there's one fellow that chooses Netease as his top pick. For that very reason, its exposure to the gaming space in China. And so to summarize, let's go back and check the boxes. I started today's video with a look at the Russell Index. We step back and we take a look at the Russell on the 5-year monthly, but we can see that overall the market's in an uptrend and price is currently up and over the 8-day EMA on the daily chart for the Russell. We looked at the sector that Netease is in, the ETF XLK, which is for the technology sector. We note that that is also in an uptrend. We looked at the chart for Netease, both the 5-year and 2-year chart, and we note that it's in a long-term uptrend and at an area of possible price continuation to the upside. We will see. It's got a great value score. It's got a good growth score with a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 17%. This box is not checked because it does not pay a dividend. This one's not checked because it does not have that 3 and 8 cross yet. We looked at seasonalities. Netease has seasonal favor pretty much throughout the entire year. So it's got seasonal favor, it's got analyst support, current PE of 21.51, and it looks as though earnings will be on February 21st. Thank you for watching today's video, and if you like receiving these, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the red subscribe button on my YouTube homepage. Mine is white because I'm already a subscriber, but if you're not a subscriber, yours will be red. That way you get the videos right away, and it's also a video library of all the past videos I've put out over the years. If you take a look at a lot of these have done very, very well because I screen ever so carefully. So take a look at Bail. We put that out about 3 weeks ago. Johnson Controls looks really interesting this week. It's also on my short list. Happy to be back from holidays, and I'm looking forward to a great 2018. We'll put our next video out on Thursday. Have a great week, everybody.